When a single neuron fires, it is but an isolated chemical blip. When many fire together, they form a thought. What is the spark that ignites our thoughts? What is the fabric that sews our mental process as we form our perspectives of the world? Join us as we explore this magical process of manifestation and self-transformation. This is Alchemy of Thought.
Hello everyone, welcome to Alchemy of Thought. I am your host Tisha Monet and I am here with licensed mental health counselor Max Stanley Cazaeu. He will be joining me today in a very deep discussion about Black relationships. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to Alchemy of Thought. I'm here with licensed mental health counselor Max Stanley Cazaeu. We are just going to get right into it. So I listened to a Joe Budden podcast episode and they were actually talking about how dating today is actually not about getting to know the other person. It's about following the dating guidelines. And what they mean by that is following your format that you have for dating, right? So let's just say as a woman, my format is he has to take me out on dates, he has to buy me jewelry, he has to do these. If he's unable to do those things, I have no interest in getting to know him as a person. Do you find that to be true? And do you think that's healthy? Like, is that healthy? But I mean, I have my own opinion about it, but what do you think as a professional?
The first thing first, I would say is I am a big fan of Joey.
Okay.
I love the Joe Budden podcast.
Disclaimer.
Right? Wall, Rory, those are my guys.
Okay.
But they are not the place to go to for relationship advice. Joe will tell you that himself. Don't listen to his relationship advice.
Okay.
It's very one-sided and it's very biased, but they are still my guys.
No, okay.
So in response to that, I would say that everyone has a list.
Okay.
Like we have this idea of what we deserve and what we want. But in reality, that list just is a form of security for us. So a woman saying that I want a man that's gonna take me out on dates, which should be the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
But
woman.
not always the case.
Correct. Fellas, we gotta do better. So that's a woman saying, I want a man that's going to pursue me.
Mm-hmm.
I want a man that's going to court me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to prioritize spending time with me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now in terms of the jewelry, it might be that their love language is receiving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So the finances may be a form of security for them, right?
Okay.
I want a man that's able to treat me as much as I would be able to treat him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I need a man that has a decent job, that is secure with his future, so I can be at ease and we can work toward creating a bigger goal, right? I just think Joey kind of used the wrong language, which is why some semantics is so important. However, I do feel like in this dating world, it's too fast-paced. We are not taking the time to get to know each other. We are not taking the time to know our partners. So I'm gonna give you some stats real quick, right?
Okay.
50% of first marriages end in divorce.
Oh, wow. Okay.
60% of second marriages end in divorce. 70% of marriages end in divorce. Of third marriages end in divorce.
So it doesn't get better. You would think by the third time you get married that you would know what you want and you've probably been experienced enough to have a long-lasting relationship, but that's by the statistics, that's not the case.
Correct. And one of the reasons why that's happening is that people are skipping steps in the dating phase, in the relationship phase, right? So if you get married within the I love you phase, which is 3 years, right? You're more likely to get divorced.
So explain that. So if you get married in the I love you phase, you are less likely to get divorced.
Yes.
So you're saying that there's a difference between the I love you phase and the in love phase.
Correct.
Okay.
So the I'm in love with you phase is basically when you have your blinders on. right? And I just met you. I enjoyed your company. We have been dating. Everything is rainbows, right? I haven't seen you upset yet. I haven't seen you when
stressed.
Correct, or your mental health issues or your traumas. I'm only seeing you when we're going out. So I'm seeing your social self. I have not seen your shadows yet. I don't know you yet. And at that time period, we are also not paying attention to the red flags, right? Because we have blinders. Our emotions are so evoked and so high that we see the red flags, but we're ignoring them. So that's a process from 1 to 3 years. So it's best to get married between 4 and 5 years.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
4 and up. At that time period, you know who your partner is.
Okay.
You've seen how clean they are. Right?
Yes. That's a big one.
You see how good or how bad they are with their finances. You get to really understand their friends. You get to see their decision making, and you get to pay attention to the red flags and determine if that's something that's going to change, or is that something that I can live with, or is that a deal breaker for me. So after 4 to 5 years, you are more likely to walk away from the red flags because you are now noticing it. You're not paying more attention. I love you means I accept you for who you are. I know you for who you are, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And I can live with that.
So to answer the question, those following those guidelines are actually important, because there was like a negative connotation around it. Like, following those guidelines is actually not about getting to know the person. It's about seeing what they can do for me. But ultimately, that is still getting to know the person to see if they can deliver those things that you require. Ultimately,
that you would prefer. I wouldn't say require.
Okay.
But that you would prefer.
Okay.
But I think that, which is why, again, some semantics is very important, right? You never get to know someone fully, right?
Never?
Never.
Okay. Because we're constantly changing. We're constantly
evolving, right?
Yes.
So if you get married, if you meet someone at, let's say, at 20, and then 10 years from now, they are not who they were at 20. So when I work with couples, one of the first 2 sessions is about friendship. I am going to test you to see how well you know your partner. Then I'm going to test your partner to see how well they know you, right? From that, then we're going to start building more of the friendship. We're going to start having the basic conversations that we haven't had in years. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? Who's your best friend?
Back to high school.
Correct. So these little questions are very meaningful, because if you have the friendship, then you're less likely to engage in conflicts. You're more likely to repair your relationships.
Basically what you're saying is, I need to know that I like you as a person before anything else.
Yes.
Can you and I be friends? Like, do I like your character?
Can we hang out?
Yeah. Without romance, without sexual experiences together.
Yes.
Can I even stand your company?
Yes. Forever after is a very, very, very long time. Right? One of the biggest myths of couples therapy or of love in general is that we need to be just alike.
No.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
The difference between us is what creates the desire, right? I need to be very inquisitive about who you are, so I can continue to learn you, and you vice versa. That's what's going to keep me interested in you. Versus we like every single thing, we know the same thing, then that becomes boring.
Yes.
Right? Also, the key is not how many things we have in common, it's how do we enjoy the time that we spend together, right? For a perfect example, so I'm a big basketball fan, right? And I'm assuming you are too.
I like sports in general, somewhat.
So let's say that you love basketball just as much as me. So technically, that's supposed to be a good thing for the relationship. But if we're watching a game together and we're arguing, oh, he sucks, or no, they suck, and it becomes personal, then the time we spend together has a negative connotation to it.
Yes.
So I don't enjoy watching basketball.
You don't look forward to it no more.
Correct.
Yeah.
But let's say that you don't like basketball and I do, and you're watching it with me. Well, laid up on the couch, we're eating some popcorn, we're screaming at the television, and we have a great time. That's far more important than us liking basketball together.
So that actually shows you that they are willing to do something that you enjoy, and that tells you a lot about a person, how much they're actually interested in you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always tell couples, You need to show up for your partner the way that your partner needs you to show up for them, not the way that feels comfortable to
For you. Oh my God, that's amazing. You need to put that on a t-shirt.
Working on it.
Okay, so that was awesome. So I actually want to get to getting into marriage. Is love enough to marry someone? It actually is love enough of a reason to marry someone or stay in a relationship? So I want to get into that when we get back. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. So we are about to get into, is love enough to marry somebody or stay into a relationship? Love alone. Why or why not?
The answer is no.
Okay.
It's really that simple,
Yeah.
right? Love is not enough to make a relationship work.
Okay.
Love is one of the prerequisites. Love is one of the biggest factors, right? You want to love whoever you are with. However, to make a relationship last, to have the fairy tale ending, to have the forever after, you need skills. You need the mindset and you need the techniques, right? So when I work with couples, we go over effective communication skills, conflict management, how to strengthen the friendship, what our love languages are, how to have the tough conversations and not allowing it to turn into a conflict, how to deepen the intimacy, how to create fondness and admiration in the relationship. I've seen a lot of people that are madly in love engage in the behaviors that consistently destroy their relationship.
So that goes to show you that love is not enough,
No.
right? And how do you get someone to overcome that, though? Because you hear so many times, like, well, why are you still with him? Or why are you still with her? Oh, because I love him. Oh, because I love her. And it's like, I don't even think that should be a consideration for personally. Love is a prerequisite, like you said, and love is needed in a relationship. But I think that the characteristics of the person and what they bring to the relationship should be the determining factors, right?
Agreed.
So what are those characteristics? So you just named the skills, right? So what are all the skills to make this relationship work?
Well, first thing first, you got to be able to have a conversation. If I'm upset at you, can I approach you and have a conversation and not a conflict, right?
Okay.
So again,
Temperament.
I love stats. I love stats because numbers don't lie.
Okay.
And it's research and it has been proven.
So hit us with the stats.
Right.
What's the stats?
96% of the time, the way you start a conversation is exactly how it's going to end.
Okay.
Meaning, if I approach you and I'm upset, and I say you're selfish, you only care about yourself, you never want to spend no time with me, I'm tired of you. I'm criticizing you.
Yeah.
I'm attacking you.
So, and as a human being, I'm going to defend myself.
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm not even listening to what you're saying. I'm listening to your tone.
Correct, because it's human nature to defend yourself when you are attacked.
Absolutely.
Which is why when people say you need to listen to understand and not listen to reply, it irks me because it's not true. It's unnatural.
Wait, say that again, because that's a big misconception. Everyone says that.
I agree.
Yeah, so.
I agree. So if anyone ever tells you that you need to listen to understand and not listen to reply, it's one of the biggest myths in couples therapy.
Okay.
It's a lie. It's not possible. If I'm attacking you, you're going to defend yourself. You're not going to sit there and say, well, so you called me the F word, the B word, but that's not what you really meant, right? Come on.
Yeah.
We're not robots. We are humans. So effective communication skills sounds like, hey, lately I have been feeling neglected. I've noticed that I've noticed that we're not spending as much time together as I would like. I'm starting to feel invisible in the relationship. I understand that more hours at work so we can have a foundation and we can buy our home, and I appreciate you for that. In the meantime, this Saturday, can we bring the children to my grandmother? Can we spend some time? Can we go to dinner, watch a Netflix movie? I'll cook. You don't have to do anything. I just want you to lay up on the couch with me, hang out with me, talk to me.
Oh, you got practice. You've been saying this with your wife.
Because I miss you. Right? That's a conversation. That's effective communication skills
it is.
versus me criticizing you. Second step. You only need to solve 31% of your differences for your relationship to be happy.
Okay, I need you to...
So you only need to solve 31% of your differences for you to have a healthy relationship.
So, like expand on that.
Okay.
What are what is that 30%?
Gotcha. So,
like?
in a relationship, there's two sets of problem. There's
Okay.
a solvable problem and
Okay.
there's a perpetual problem. A solvable problem is something that you can solve, right?
Okay.
Where are we going for Christmas? What vacation are we going to? What are we gonna eat for dinner? A perpetual problem is something that's more ingrained into us. It's our personality.
Like morals and your beliefs.
Correct.
Okay.
If you like dogs and not like cats, we'll never solve that.
Okay.
If
okay.
I'm an introvert at a party and you're an extrovert, we will never solve that.
Okay.
We have to learn to manage that.
Okay.
But if we have this idea that we can solve it, then we end up arguing about it over and over and over again, and nothing gets solved.
Okay.
Right? So if you don't have those type of knowledge, if you don't have those type of skills, then your relationship is not going to make it. In terms of couples that don't want to leave their relationship even though it's chaotic, that's because that reminds them of a home. That's their comfort zone. They need the chaos to feel alive because they've never experienced anything else.
But that's trauma though, right? That's not healthy.
That's trauma bonding. Right? So if I grew up in a chaotic environment, it's all I know. It's my definition of love.
Okay.
So therefore, I'm not going to leave my comfort zone where I feel comfortable, even though it's impacting me mentally, because that's what I know. The unknown is too scary for me. So if I'm in a partner that's loving me and doing all of the right things, I don't know how to react because I've never experienced it. I've never done my self-work.
So this
I'm not aware of
actually
it.
leads me to a question, just off the top of my head. Can someone have a healthy relationship and at the same time simultaneously healing their trauma? Because so I'm a person that came from, a domestic home or a domestic upbringing, and I'm trying to establish a healthy dynamic, a healthy relationship. What you just said rang true, right? So I don't know how to accept this person that is loving me in a healthy manner. How do I tackle my trauma and still be with this person?
That's such a powerful question. And I thank you again for asking that. It's another myth, right? That you need to be 100% whole or healthy to be in a relationship. That's a lie, right?
Okay.
We're never whole, we're becoming whole.
Okay.
We never arrive, we are arriving.
Okay.
Right? And also whatever you're going through, if you have the right partner that's going to support you, that's going to listen to you, that's going to pay attention to your triggers, to your trauma, and actually help you recover, that's more important than you trying to do it yourself. Picture you having a trigger and you're alone, so you're like crying and going through it by yourself, versus having a partner that's right next to you and saying, it's okay to cry. Here's my shoulder. I got you. What do you need? That is much more impactful and better for your mental health and your treatment overall than being by yourself. It's very important, and it's the biggest decision that we make in life, who to choose to be with.
Yeah.
Right? Because this person can either be an addition or subtraction to all aspects of your life.
And that comes with alignment, right?
Correct.
Picking people that align with your lifestyle. Not
Yes.
trying to change anyone, not looking at potential. Oh, I see what she could be, and it's accepting them for who they are in the present time. That is beautiful. I love that. So next I want to get into, as being a licensed mental health counselor, specializing in couples therapy, specifically Black couples.
Correct.
In your experience, what is the most common component that is missing in Black relationships? From everyone that you have, all your clients that come to you, do you see any similarities in these couples, and what is that? So we're going to get into that when we come back, okay?
Perfect.
Welcome back again, everyone, to Alchemy of Thought. We actually are about to talk about what is the common missing component in Black relationships and what we can do as a community to overcome this. So in your professional experience and dealing with your clients, what are the common or the biggest component that you see is missing amongst Black people in relationships?
So to me, I think that you said the word in the question, and the key word is community. It's representation.
Okay.
Right? Like, if you think about it, we are being raised in homes that does not showcase healthy relationships. We are part of communities where the black men and the black women are not living in harmony or together.
We're attacking one another.
Correct.
Yeah.
Black love is under attack. Since the birth of America, of the world, period, right? They have targeted the black man through slavery, through Jim Crow, through police brutality, through the war on drugs, right? Black men are being put in jail. So you have a ratio of four women to one black male, right? So we're being born in single home households where we're not seeing what a healthy relationship look like. And the media as well is only representing the stereotypes of black love. It's domestic violence, it's a bunch of arguments, it's
baby mama drama.
Correct. It's infidelity, and it's a bunch of information that is not helping us cultivate the mindset, the skill sets, and the techniques to a healthy black love.
And then what can we do as a community to overcome this? So I know that you mentioned it comes from basically our upbringing, a lot of it, and just societal views of us as black people, what that's been portrayed of us in the media, right? How do we overcome something that we are born into, right? And then cut it off so where it doesn't trickle down to our offspring. Basically, we're breaking generational curses.
Correct.
That is actually not caused by us. It's caused from outside influences.
Correct. Yes.
So how do we overcome this?
Wow.
Like, because it's deep. It's really deep.
I agree with
and
you.
we need to know to get to the core of it to fix our children and our children's children.
Yes.
And so we are still here and thriving.
Yes. So to me, I think the key is to stop looking at it from a family standpoint or single standpoint and start looking at the systemic factors that have led to all of this, from unemployment, from all of us going to jail, from the lack of education, from the lack of jobs, and etc. However, I think the change happens with us. We have to do better, right?
Yes.
We need to start having these conversations that we're having today. We need to start educating the public, which is why, like, I'm dedicating my professional career to educating the black community on what healthy relationships looks like, and also giving them the practical skills to achieve that, so that my children, your children, the next generation can do a lot better than what we have done in the past.
Yes.
Right? It's through understanding and it's through education. The same way that I can spend an hour watching a Joe Budden podcast, right? I can also look at therapists that are talking about relationships, that are giving us the skills. The same way all these makeup videos are going viral, we can do the same when it comes to black love.
It's all about pointing your attention to the correct outlet to gain this knowledge and information that you need. Instead of, like you said, you can sit down and watch, a reality show, Reality Housewives of Atlanta or whatever it's called, for an hour. You can change your direction, shift your attention to something that will actually benefit your life and your mindset and your thinking and how you interact with other people. So to answer the question, you said education.
Correct, yes.
What else? Representation
and community. We need to get in touch back with our elders, right?
So by community, it's like that whole it takes a village type of mindset, but instead of a child, it's with us.
Correct.
It takes a village.
Correct.
Hold each other accountable.
Yes.
Okay, that's a big one. Okay.
I run a men's support group for married men. For free. Right. I'm not even charging. Why? Because as a black man, I had to learn how to function in a relationship, how to be the right partner for my partner, right? So I have that knowledge, so therefore I invite other black men and we have those conversations. When they're not seeing eye to eye with their families or with their ladies, we're able to talk through it. We're able to support each other and create that camaraderie and keep the learning going so that we can all do better.
Yes.
That's how we overcome the state of the black community.
I love it.
It's to start with the black family,
Yes.
the black foundation, right? Because if a child is raised in a two-parent household, right, they are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. They're less likely to go to jail. They're less likely to have a mental health diagnosis. They are less likely to have health issues. They are more likely to be emotionally intelligent. They are more likely to success in life, period. Right? So by the systems targeting black men and removing them from the home, they're setting us up to fail. Right? So we need to realize that. We need to overcome that, and we need to work together to overcome everything that's in our path.
Now, you mentioned something a little bit earlier about being the right person, being the right partner for your partner, right? So speaking of that, I really want to get into, is there such thing as the soulmate or the one? Because becoming the right person for your wife, or, you know, for me to become the right woman for my husband, that leads me to believe that, like, okay, am I the one? Like this big old misconception about the soulmate and just finding this one person that God created for you. What is your take on that? So we are going to get into that when we come back. Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Excellent.
Welcome back to Alchemy of Thought. I am here with Max Stanley Cazaeu. We are talking about this amazing conversation about therapy, black couples, our black love, our trauma, how creating the best relationship for us. So right now we're going to get into a little bit of a taboo topic. I know that this can be a little touchy, especially for my believers out there. Is there a such thing as the one, or your soulmate, or someone that God has created specifically for you? What is your professional opinion on that?
Okay. So it's very tough to answer any godly related questions. So do I believe that God has created someone or a number of people that could become the one for you? Yes. However, does the one exist? No. There's 100,000 men and women out here in the world, right? That you can hopefully meet. So there's not a potential for the one. There's a potential for multiple ones. Okay. Right? So if you meet someone and they're making you feel great, you're comfortable, you feel secure, you feel like they are coachable, they are willing to learn you and be present for you, they are willing to love you accordingly, then that person can become the one. Okay. There are going to be obstacles, of course, but if they persevere and they are working with you, then they can become the one. This idea that you just run into someone and boom, this is the one, that's not true. It takes years and years to get to know someone, to understand what they need and what they like, so you can perform to their needs, right? So there is definitely the potential to become the one. Now, if you're dating someone and you find yourself feeling insecure, they are affecting your mental health, they are leading you to substance use, or they don't have the ability to love you correctly, then that's not the one for you, right? But
and I find that it's easier to decipher who's not the one as opposed to who's the one, right? You know, when you start to date someone, you immediately know if they're making you feel good or not. And which is something that we need to work on, especially as black women, that when we are not feeling good with someone, that's an indication immediately that they are not the one, instead of trying to find things or make up excuses. So it's easier, I feel like, to decipher the not the one as opposed to the one. You know?
And at times, like, we have to give the opportunity to see if they're gonna become the one. So I have been with my wife for 8 years now. When we first met, she was not the one for me. But through my knowledge of how to make relationship work, through her dedication to me, due to us working on our relationship together, she has become the one. She is the perfect piece that I ever needed in life. Right? And I hope she will say the same thing about me as well. Right?
You hope.
Right. So she has become the one for me. We didn't just meet and boom, we got married.
It took some work. It took effort. Absolutely.
Correct. Also, if you're with someone that they're consistently engaging in infidelities and causing you more pain, then that's not the one for you.
Now, okay, speaking of infidelity, right? Okay, so we understand the concept from your opinion, professional opinion, that the one does not exist. With that, do you think that people who believe that the one exists, right? Like you're talking to someone that say, she's the one for me, but I can't stop looking at other women. I can't stop dipping off. Like, why do you think that is? Like, is that conditioning? Is that something that they need to overcome as an individual, or maybe monogamy is just not for them? So is that more so dealing with identifying their personal requirements for a relationship?
Wonderful question. So I'm assuming that we're talking about men.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Men.
Cool.
Yes.
So we also need to take into mindset the biological makeup of a male.
Okay.
Right?
Where you going with
if
this?
a woman walks by, 9 out of 10% the man is going to look at the woman.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Because
there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
it's unconscious. It's not even conscious. And after 3 seconds, they forget about that woman completely. Right? So men engage in infidelities not because they're trying to have sex with other women. It's because there is something in the relationship that they are in need of that's not being provided for them.
I don't know about that one. Wait, say that again. Say that for me one more time.
Research shows more than 70% of the time when a man or a woman cheat, it's not because they are wanting to have sex with another woman or another man. It's because they are seeking something that is non-existent in the relationship. So I work with a lot of couples where infidelity has taken place.
Okay.
Right? And it's usually the man, if I'm being honest. But the storyline is usually the same. Hey, I tried to talk to you. I tried to told you what I needed. You didn't give that to me. So I found it elsewhere. And then it led to a sexual relationship. So
more than often, you find the male is trying to communicate to the wife, to the significant other, and that communication is lacking for whatever reason, and then he branches out.
Yes. So the issue is that males use a different language. Okay. Right? We talk different. Women also talk different. Right? So if I'm telling you what I need, but you're not understanding it based on the way that I'm saying it, you miss it. But I take it as if you're not willing to meet me or to give me what I need. So it's human nature for me to seek it elsewhere. I had a male client with his wife, and he was going through a tough time at work. He was not working, and he was not having as much funds. He's trying to talk to her to let him know how he feels. And she kept on minimizing him. You're the man, you're supposed to be the provider. Or at times she was just not listening to him. So eventually through talking, he found someone that was paying more attention to him, that was telling him that your job does not define you. Your income does not define you. So this led him to create an attachment with that woman based off that need that was not being met in the relationship. Yes, so that was a wonderful example, and I do hear what you're saying, but I don't think that that's a high percentage. 73%. I numbers don't lie, but going from experiences to talking with other women, sometimes men do just want the sex. It's women as well. That's your perception. So, but I've heard it from people as well, right? So, for example, right, say you're in a relationship, maybe monogamy is not for the person, right? That doesn't mean that they don't love the person. It doesn't mean that communication is lacking. Is it possible that a person can still go out and cheat, commit adultery, and still have a very healthy relationship, right? So, I'm just trying to really put the lines together, how it's more often that like it's men that's trying to, because you said in your case that more, but in your case you've seen more men cheating. Yes. Right? So in all those relationships there was something lacking, right? In all, okay, all right.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just trying to put because it's your professional opinion, and you're the one that knows the statistics, and you have the clients. But I'm just from a woman's perspective, and just speaking to other women. You know, of course, there's always two sides to the story, and you don't really see. It was the guy that's coming to you like, baby, I need this from you. I need you to
they may
treat me
not
this
say
way.
it in those language.
So okay.
And those semantics, they may not use those words. But usually, like for male to be vulnerable, it takes a lot, right? So if I'm being vulnerable with you, but you're not recognizing that, you're using it and you're weaponizing it against me, then I'm going to seek shelter elsewhere. I'm going to seek comfort elsewhere.
Okay.
Right? So 70% of the time, like when people cheat in general, whether men or women, it's due to a need in the relationship that was not met. 20 to 30% of the time, it's mainly sexual.
Just sexual.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well.
Hot take. Y'all gonna be mad at me for this.
So that's something that we really need to fix in our relationships, though, because cheating is, what's the number again? For the statistic for cheating in marriages.
70% of the time, it's due to a need that's not being met.
No, like for people that are having conflicts in their relationships, right? What's the percentage of it being adultery? Like
that I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
That
Okay,
I'm not sure.
but I would assume that it's high though. More common, more cases than none. Cheating is a common factor in relationships.
In my experience so far, with most of the couples that I've worked with, I would say 60% males, 40% women.
As far as cheating.
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
However, you can recover from that.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm getting to.
Not specializing in that too.
What are the components for us to fight against that? Because cheating is such a big common denominator in the Black community.
Can we talk about this real quick?
Go, come on. That's what we're here for.
Here's the reality. You cannot affair-proof your relationship. You can do everything that you could do to fulfill your partner's needs, and they may still choose to cheat because that's an independent choice.
Exactly.
Right? They're
That's
choosing
perfect.
to cheat, right? Even though their needs are not being met, they can find another way to communicate it to you so that you understand it. But they still chose to step out the relationship to have that need being met. I always say your relationship ends when you start looking elsewhere for comfort or for shelter, right? So basically a relationship is you and I together, and there's a wall around us with a window to the outside world, right? When I start building a wall between you and I, and having a door to the outside world, that's when the relationship starts ending, right? Another major issue that leads to cheating, which relates back to community, right? We expect our partners to fulfill every single role in our life, and that's not fair. I'm your husband. I'm also your best friend, but I'm not your girls. I'm not your trainer. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm not that. Just because you're in a relationship does not mean that you forego the rest of your relationships, right? You should always continue to maintain that. When you have such expectations for one person, they will crumble under pressure. Of course.
That's well said. And I think that's very important. I think that a lot of people do that too. They expect you to be everything for them. You have to be my boyfriend. You have to be my therapist. You have to be my shopping partner. You have to be someone I can vent to. And it's like, how can I be all these things? That's not even my personality. Those aren't my characteristics.
Yes, have your personal life.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. So we're going to actually get into the very last topic, which is the X factor.
Yes.
I want to know from you personally, what is the best advice that you've been given? So we are about to discuss from your professional experience and opinion.
Okay.
What is the best advice that you can give to help couples who are in need of emotional guidance?
Emotional guidance,
yes.
Right. So that is a topic that I get a DM about once a day. My man is not talking to me. He's not expressing his emotions. I need help, or I need him to be more in touch with his emotions, right? So, biologically speaking, both men and women are different. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yes.
I
Our makeup, our hormones are different.
Yes, that is true.
Estrogen, I have testosterone.
Yes.
Right. So as a man,
Mm-hmm.
that's being raised in society due to the testosterone,
Mm-hmm.
right? I am not in touch with my emotions. As a child, as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot spend time identifying with my emotions because I'm trying to survive and be part of the top of the food chain.
Toxic masculinity, right? When you say that that's what that is?
No, that is not toxic masculinity.
No.
No, because it's biological. Like
But
it's
it's also taught, no?
Mhm.
Is it learned, like some of these things, learned behaviors?
to some degree,
Mhm.
but not to the extent that most people think.
Okay.
Right? So as a teenager, if I'm in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to survive high school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be part of the top of my high school.
Okay.
Right? If you think back, right, the male that was more in touch with his emotions, that was saying exactly how they felt.
Mm-hmm.
They were targeted,
Mm-hmm.
they were bullied, they were name called.
Mhm.
Right? No man want to go through that. The
No
jack,
person, yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
The jack or the football player barely showed his emotions.
Mhm.
He was very physical,
Mm-hmm.
and he barely spoke on how he felt.
Mhm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So due to that reason, he was at the top of the food chain. Right? Because
Okay.
it's much more for males. It's much more of a survival.
So are you saying that you can't be at the top of the food chain and be in touch with their emotions?
Can you think of someone in high school that was in touch with their emotions?
Mhm.
That was the top of the food chain.
I mean, not offhand right now. High school was so long ago. But,
So
but
the-
because I think that you can be. That's a part of being an emotionally intelligent person and someone who has,
That's a key word right there, right?
Yeah.
Being emotionally
and having
intelligent.
autonomy over your being, your brain, your physical attributes. Like
Yes.
you, in order to be at the top of the food chain,
Mhm.
I feel like you need to be emotionally intelligent and to tap into your emotions.
Not true.
Okay.
Right. So just
Okay.
just
No,
hear me out.
I'm rolling with you. I'm
Just
trying.
hear
I'm
me out,
trying.
Right. So as a male, we
Mhm.
spend most of our time masking our emotions so
Mhm.
that we're not targeted, so
Mhm.
we're not bullied,
Mhm.
so that we're not at the bottom of the food chain.
Okay.
Right? Because if you think of what's the guy's name?
Help me out. Gotta give me a hint.
The survival of the fittest.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The one that's going to survive is the one that's on top. Is the one that's more masculine. Right? So a teenager spend their whole time trying to look as masculine as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We create this poker face in which you can't even tell when we're feeling some type of way.
Mhm.
We learn how to mask our anger. Right?
But why not just learn how to manage it?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Mhm.
And also, it's not being done purposely.
Mhm.
That's also the effect of testosterone on the male brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? The testosterone is the manly, aggressive hormone, right? So it automatically forces you to be like that. Like you're not choosing to. It's just that's your makeup. So that's how you start to interact, right? Also, anger, which is the most common things that most males show, right? Anger,
Mm-hmm.
which is also not an emotion. The reason why it's so common for males to be angry is because their part of the brain that control the anger is very small for males.
Okay.
For women, it's a lot bigger.
Okay.
So you guys are more equipped to handle your anger.
Okay.
The reason why a male is at the top of their company is not because they were in touch with their emotions, it's because they know how to problem solve. They know how to sell. They know how to survive, right? The reason why if me and you go out to a bar, you feel safe with me, is because you know that I can protect you. And a part of that is the anger that I'm able to express.
I hear what you're saying, but it all sounds like social conditioning.
That's more biological.
No, because as a person, you can control how you interact and how you think and how you maneuver, right? It's having autonomy over your brain, over your consciousness. So choosing is all about choosing and being able to choose what path is better for you and how you react to things. I feel like chumps biology. Biology is just you being born with a penis and I'm being born with a vagina.
What's much more complicated?
And I know it is, but I feel like it's what you're saying kind of takes away from your choice to your ability to choose how you react to certain things. Like I hear what you're saying, that our makeup makes us who we are, and the man uses certain parts of the brain as opposed to the woman, but we overall still have the ability to choose and to train ourselves to be what it is that we deeply desire. If we
at a later stage in life.
Okay.
Right. So as a teenager, our goal is to make it through high school. Right.
Okay.
As a young man, our goal is to out-earn everyone else, to have a life that we're proud of. Right. Now, when we get into a relationship, that's when the issue starts for us.
Okay.
Because now you're asking us to do a complete 180 and get in touch with our emotions that we've been suppressing and masking for such amount of time. Right. So I'm 23 and you're asking how do I feel? Mine is going, I'm good, or I'm angry, right? So now males have to retrain themselves and socially decondition themselves so that they can get in touch with their emotions.
But that training should come from as a child. If you are raised in a healthy, let's just say, for example, for the sake of the conversation, a young boy, black boy, is raised in a healthy household dynamic. He has a mother, he has a father. They both raised him to speak, to engage, to be in touch with his emotions. At 23 years old, if someone asks you what is wrong with you or whatever, he should be able to answer and identify what is wrong with him. We're talking about a healthy individual here.
Agreed.
So it's about conditioning and being able to choose, right? And then you also have people that are just intelligent or mature for their age. I've met 23-year-olds, 20-year-olds who I'm like, you're 20. When they talk, they think, they act, they maneuver, and the way they socialize with people, you would think that they were so much older.
Correct.
So I definitely hear what you're saying, but I definitely think there's some loopholes in there somewhere.
Yes, but also right. So you're saying that if you're raised in a two-parent household and you're taught all of the right things.
Not necessarily two. Doesn't necessarily have to be two parent, but just a healthy dynamic. Yeah.
Yes, and you're being told to express your feelings. That's great. But once you get into high school, it's a different ballgame, right? Because at the age of 14, 15, the child moves away from the attachment to the parents and more to a social attachment, right? Socially speaking, they are taking cues that me saying, "Hey, I'm angry at you," or "Hey, I'm insecure," will lead to them being ridiculed and targeted. So instead, they mask that, right? And they start showing more of their anger. They start not showing no emotions at all, and they start being more quiet about their emotions, right? Which is why at 16, 17, they can't really understand what they are feeling.
What's happening?
They don't have the words to even describe it, right? So when you get into a relationship and your partner's asking how you feeling and you have all of these emotions and you can't describe it, then you feel like your partner is not being emotionally available. Yes, that's true, but they also don't have the tools to learn how to communicate their feelings accordingly. So within my couple session, the male is the first one to cry. By session 3,
wow,
most
that's
males
interesting.
cry.
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Because at that time period, after I explained that to them, right, and we're asking them how they are feeling, they can answer it. I have a sheet full of emotions, and they're able to pinpoint exactly how they felt.
Wow.
Right? Then that becomes very powerful for them because it's the first time they see, okay, those are the emotions. What am I feeling right now? And now this is a safe space where I can express that, right? Also, if you think when we have children, our testosterone decreases and our estrogen increases, which is why you see...
men, you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why you see the manliest man having a tea party with his daughter, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And another reason why women say I prefer to date older men is because older men are more in touch with their emotions. One of the reasons why is because their testosterone tends to be lower and their estrogen tends to be higher, right? So if we have that knowledge and we have that understanding when we're in a relationship with a 20 to a closer 30-year-old and they can identify their emotions and their feelings, then we may proceed with more compassion and more understanding versus vilifying them and attacking them because they are unable to express themselves.
That's amazing, and that's very well said.
Thank
Okay, I see you. I see your little work there. Very interesting.
Thank you for trusting the process and
No
allowing me to
problem.
get it off.
So, what is the best advice that you can give, though? The number one advice that you can give anyone that they can attribute it to anything in life, in relationships.
So, on my bedroom wall, I spelled out a word: accommodate. Accommodate, right? So at any point, me and my wife were having an issue, we point to that word and remind each other that we are to accommodate to one another, right? Relationships are easy. People are difficult. People are selfish, right? I've been selfish. I've engaged in selfish behaviors, right? So, for example, if my partner say, "Hey, can you come to my family gathering with me or with my friends?" I don't like your friends. I ain't going. Right?
It'd be like that too.
So that's me rejecting
Yes.
my partner's needs and desire to have me present. So she'll point to the wall and say, accommodate. Right? Accommodate meaning I'm moving away from 0% and I'm gonna try to meet you somewhere. And you're moving away from 100% and accommodating to a lower percentage. Okay, cool. I will go with you. It's a 4-hour. I will stay for 2 hours and I will be the best partner for those 2 hours. After those 2 hours, I'm gonna take an Uber and come home to process everything I just dealt with.
Okay.
Right?
Accommodation. That's accommodation at its best.
At that time, I moved from 0 to let's say 40%, and she moved from 100 to 60%. Even though she would want me there for the duration of the 4 hours, she's getting me for 2 hours. That's better than 0%.
So it's compromising too. It's compromising.
Correct.
Yes.
But compromising tends to involve 50-50.
Okay.
Accommodate does not.
Okay.
Right?
I see.
It's whatever I can give you to satisfy the need currently. And another question that I usually get is, bruh, when I'm having sex, she's always tired and etc. Right? Whenever I point to accommodate in relation to sex, most women tend to be upset. But I'm still making my point, right?
What's the accommodation for this, Mac?
You see, so the power of accommodating is that it's not set. At that time period, you get to decide what you're willing to give in, and your partner also has to be flexible to learn to accept what you're ready to give in, right? It could be, you know what, I don't want to engage in an intimate behavior right now. Can you just hold me? Can we cuddle?
Let's have the intimacy
Right.
part of it.
Can I get a massage instead? Or can I massage you? Or can I do anything else to satisfy you that doesn't involve exactly what you're asking for? Right? So that's how you maintain a healthy, loving, functioning relationship where your partner doesn't consistently feel rejected.
Well said, Mac. Well, that was amazing. This has been another episode of Alchemy of Thought. Again, here with licensed mental health counselor specializing in couples therapy, specifically Black couples, Mac Stanley Cazaeu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
it
you
was
for
a
having
pleasure.
me.
I learned so much. And we'll see you guys next time.
Until next time.